Hello, thank you for watching my channel today. My name's Sarah and my channel is called Your True Self. It's really hot and I may be looking a little bit dishevelled and sweaty but I'm very excited that today I'm doing my Shorty September TBR. So for those of you who don't know, Shorty September is reading short books. So I've chosen less than 250 pages to read throughout September, and there are 12 prompts for this beautifully created sheet that Heather created from Soggy Expat Book Nerd, and it's hosted by Heather and Sian and Bert at Past Story Time. So I'm going to leave all the links for this in the description box down below. So this started last year and it's happening again this year, which I'm really excited about because it was so fun. So there are 12 prompts. I have got all of the books off my shelves for 250 pages or less. So there's lots, and I've put more than one for each prompt because I thought it might give people ideas. I don't know which one I'm going to choose yet. I'm just going to kick off because otherwise we'll be here for, you know, hours. So I just got to find each one in all these piles. So the first prompt is Boxer Shorts, which is a comfort read, and for that one I have chosen first there's this is my childhood edition of The Railway Children, and my daughter and I are going to go and watch the new version of this at the cinema tonight, but I loved the film of this when I was little. This is really old and not the prettiest edition, but I've never actually read it, I don't think. I think I've just watched the film a lot of times. So there's that one, and the other one is Julia and the Shark by Kieran, Milwood, Hargrave. So this is a story, it's a middle grade book about Julia, who goes to live in a lighthouse in Scotland with her parents, and she finds a shark, and I think it's like a story about environmentalism for kids, but it's supposed to be amazing, and it's got some really lovely art in it as well. So that's the two for comfort read. We've then got Bermuda Shorts, which is a book in translation. So for that I have, this one is a library book. So this is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and translated by Jeffrey Truselot. So I have read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and this is more stories from the cafe. So basically the rules are, you can go to a cafe, this specific cafe, you have to sit in a certain seat, and you can travel back in time, but only to when you were sitting in the cafe, and you have to get back before the coffee turns cold, otherwise something terrible will happen to you. So this is further tales from that collection. I then have Seeing Red by Lina, Meruane. Sorry if I said that wrong. This is translated from Spanish by Megan McDowell, and this is a book I heard about on Jen Campbell's channel. This is about a woman called Lucina, who is a Chilean writer. She's moved to New York to pursue an academic career, and one night when she's at a party, doctors have warned her that something might happen, but she basically gets hemorrhaging in her eyes, and within minutes blood fills her vision and reduces her vision to sketched outlines and tones of grey, and she has to adjust to a very different life. So that's that one. And then the last one is Jiyoung, born in 1982, by Nam-Joo, and I didn't write down the translator. This is on ebook, so I can't hold it up, but I believe it's just like a tale about a woman called Kim Jiyoung, who is born in South Korea, and just kind of about what it's like living as a woman in South Korea. The next prompt is Half and Half Shorts, which is to watch a movie or TV adaptation and read the book. So I have two options for this. One is another ebook, which is A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr, and this is set in the 1940s, when a man gets back from the Second World War, and he goes and starts restoring a mural in a church in the country and try and sort of recover from what's happened to him. And he sort of just has a really slow summer doing this artwork and trying to get back into like a good place again. And then the second one is 84 Charing Cross Road. This was on my list last year as well, by Helene Hanff, and this is a epistolary book which is set in 1949 between Helen Hanff, and who's living in New York, and the booksellers of 84 Charing Cross Road, when she's trying to get different books and things from them. Next we have Shorty Shorts, which is a book written in the 70s or 80s. So the two options that I have for this one is A Burst of Light and Other Essays by Audrey Lorde. This is a collection of essays, as I just said, covering race, gender, living and dying, reflections on her struggle with cancer to thoughts on lesbian sexuality and African American identity in a straight white man's world. I've wanted to read some Audrey Lorde for ages, so that's a really good time to read it. And then the other one was The Wine of Astonishment by Earl Lovelace. So this is a book set in Trinidad, and it's about the political situation in Trinidad, where America are basically taking advantage of Trinidad, telling them what to do, how to live, and they're kind of sick of it. And a chap who is a boxer, he's quite popular, and he decides he's going to take on a political leadership role, and I think it all goes a little bit wrong. So the next prompt we have is Cargo Shorts, which is the book set in nature. I have 4 choices for this one. The first one is a non-fiction book, and this is Hammerhead by Nina McLaughlin, and this is subtitled The Making of a Carpenter. So Nina McLaughlin was working in a desk job, and she quit to become a carpenter, and she didn't have a clue what she was doing to start off with, but she had to learn the trade. And I figured because this was like carpentry and wood, then this would be a good one for related to nature. I have this one, which my friend Hannah lent to me. This is Hidden Nature by Alys Fowler, A Voyage of Discovery. So this one is about, it's another non-fiction, and Alys Fowler, who is a Guardian Award-winning writer, she sets out to explore Birmingham's canal network on an inflatable kayak, full of little used waterways where huge pike, skulk and kingfishers dart. And it's basically about noticing wild everywhere and what it means to see beauty when you least expect it.
That is from the cat.
I think the next one, the next one is also non-fiction. This is another one that I heard about from Jen Campbell, and this is Small Bodies of Water by Nina Mingya Powles. So she grew up in Borneo, where her mother is from, or she learned to swim in Borneo, and her grandfather was a marine biologist, and she then weaves together, talks about everything from migration, food, family, earthquakes and the ancient lunar solar calendar, reflecting on a girlhood spent growing up between two cultures and what it means to belong. And then the final one I have for this is another one I heard about from Jen, which is What Willow Says by Lynn Buckle, which I have on ebook. This is a book which is about a young girl who is deaf, living with her grandmother, and I believe that they make up their own sort of sign language, and then as Willow is growing up and she goes out into the sort of wider world, they realise that she has to learn sort of conventional sign language to be able to communicate with other people. And I think it's about how nature speaks to them, and through that's how they've made up their own language initially. So probably was a really bad description. Prompt number 6 is Lifeguard Shorts, which is a beach read. I have 2 options for this one. I'm not sure if this is really a beach read, but I really wanted to include this on the list. So this is Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson, and so it's the library book, so it's a bit shiny. So this is about a black couple. So they meet at a pub in southeast London. They both won scholarships to private schools, and they're both artists. So he's a photographer and she's a dancer. They're trying to make their mark in the city, and they fall in love, but it says 2 people who seem destined to be together can still be torn apart by fear and violence. So that's that one. And then the second one is 2 Boys Kissing by David Levithan. So the 2 boys kissing are Craig and Harry. They are hoping to set the world record for the longest kiss. They're not a couple, but they used to be. So yeah, that's that one. And that's a YA book. Then the next category is Playsuit Shorts, which is a book that you might regret. So, because play suits, they seem like a good idea. When you need to go to the loo, not such a good idea. I love that prompt. That's a new one for this year. So for this one, I chose 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Now, I read Tuesdays with Morrie by him and totally loved it. But I started the audiobook of this a really long time ago and I didn't like it, but I think it was because the narrator was so annoying. So I'm not sure if I will get it. But it says, on his 83rd birthday, Eddie, a lonely war veteran, dies in a tragic accident trying to save a little girl from a falling cart. With his final breath, he feels 2 small hands in his and then nothing. He awakens in the afterlife where he learns that heaven is not a garden of Eden but a place where your earthly life is explained to you by 5 people who were in it. These people may have been loved ones or distant strangers, yet each of them changed your path forever. Love the premise. Hope I like the book. And then I also have another non-fiction, Stop Reading the News by Rolf Debelly, and this is a manifesto for a calmer, happier and wiser life. So I have stopped reading the news. I stopped when COVID was going on. The only reason I think this might be one I regret was not because of the message, but maybe because of things I'll learn which will be upsetting during this book. The next prompt is called The Emperor's New Shorts, which is somebody with an unreliable narrator. Now, the only one I could think of for this is Leave the World Behind by Room and Alarm, because I'm not sure how reliable our narrators are in this book. It's about a couple who've gone to stay in... where are they staying? Well, they're a remote holiday home, I think, in the States. And then a couple come to them whilst they're in the holiday home to say, well, this is actually our holiday home. There's a massive power shortage in New York, so we need to come and stay here, basically. And we don't know who these people are. Are they really the homeowners, etc.? So that's going to be my unreliable narrator. Category number, I think, 9 is Runway Fashion Shorts, and that is a book with a beautiful cover. So for this, I have On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, which I've wanted to read for ages. And this is a young man writing a letter to his mother, and she can't read, so she'll never be able to read the letter. But it's basically about his story and struggles and things like that. So that one's supposed to be beautiful inside and outside. And the other one was... Actually, I'm going to add a third one for this. So we've got this one, not perhaps the most beautiful cover, conventionally speaking, but I just really love the cover of this one. So this is about Elizabeth, who is a young, overworked hospital doctor. She gets a phone call from her father late on a Friday night saying that her mum is dangerously ill. And then it follows her over the weekend on call and her busy casualty ward, finding moments to reminisce about her childhood in its joys and its miseries, and past and present are woven together to understand her life as a whole. And then I'm just adding in Flames by Robbie Arnott, which is, again, a shiny one because it's from the library, but it's very beautiful. And this is about women in a family who, after they die, they come back to life and then they burst into flames. And when the mother dies, the brother decides he's going to build a special flame-proof coffin for the sister, and I think she tries to escape from him. That's a very, very brief synopsis. Where are we up to now? So, Ripped Shorts, a slasher or murder mystery. Don't know if this is a murder mystery. I definitely don't have any slashers. Last year I read a Grady Hendrix book for this category. I do have some Grady Hendrix on Audible, so maybe, but I've chosen Nobody Is Ever Missing by Catherine Lacey. So I don't know if anyone's actually murdered in this, but this is about a woman called Ilaria who leaves her comfortable life and boards a one-way flight to New Zealand, and then she embarks on a hitchhiker's odyssey and lives out in nature, and she asks herself, what is it I am missing and how can a person be missing? I'm not sure if that's really a murder mystery. It's just like the cover makes it look like it is, and it's called Nobody's Ever Missing. So I might be cheating a bit there. We have Scorts, which is a mixed genre or unclear genre book. And for that one, I have chosen White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi. This one I'm not quite sure if this is like magical realism, fantasy, literary fiction, a mixture of all of the others. I'm not entirely sure. But I think this is about, let's see, a vast mysterious house near Dover. The Silver family is reeling from the hole punched into its heart. Lily is gone and her twins Miranda and Elliot. Lily is gone and her twins, Miranda and Elliot, and her husband Luke mourn her absence with unspoken intensity. All is not well with the house either, which creaks and grumbles and malignly confuses its visitors in its mazy rooms, forcing winter apples in the garden where the trees should be bare. Generations of women inhabit its walls, and Miranda, with her new appetite for chalk and her keen sense for spirits, is more attuned to them than she is to her brother and father. She is slowly slipping away from them and then vanishes entirely. One. And then the last category is denim shorts, which is a modern classic. So I have 3 options here. The options I have are The Seven Sisters by Margaret Drabble, which is a signed edition. This is about a lady called Candida Wilson, who has been ignored by her husband and children for years before being displaced by a younger woman. She moves to London alone, and without much money she will now enjoy a life of only small pleasures. When she receives an unexpected windfall, she gathers together 6 travelling companions, women friends from childhood, married life and after, and maps out a journey she has long dreamed of around Tunis, Naples and Pompeii, where her grey city life can blossom into one of colour and adventure. That sounds awesome. Why haven't I read that before? There's a tiny, tiny little book, which is probably the smallest one. Well, it's definitely the smallest one here. And this is Tales of Women on the Edge by the legendary Dorothy Parker. And this is some of her very short stories. And then finally we have an ebook, The Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, and this is, I believe, about a young boy called Jed who he's got some magic abilities. He's been using them for not such great purposes, and I think he has to then basically experience the consequences. So that's all of them. I just wanted to just really quickly mention the books that I haven't mentioned so far, in case I get to read those. I've got A World Without Smells by Lars Lundqvist, which is a memoir about somebody who has anosmia, which means they can't smell. They never have been able to smell. I've got They Can't Kill Us All by Wesley Lowery, which is the story of Black Lives Matter. Don't Touch My Hair by Emma Dabry, which is Black history told through black hair. Dying to Be Me by Anita Morjani, a non-fiction book about a woman who was dying of cancer, and then suddenly her cancer just went into remission even though she was pretty much on her deathbed. And then the final one, which obviously I'm going to mention because the whole readathon is partly down to him, and this is Absolute Joy by Roberto Pastori, our very own Bert, and this is his latest poetry collection, which I didn't really think it fitted into any of the categories, but I will definitely be reading it as part of Shorty September. So that is my very whistle-stop tour of everything that I want to read in September. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to get through all of those books. Heather managed to do one a day for the whole of September last year, which is incredible. I'm not going to be able to do that, but I'm going to give it a good go, guys, and I'm really excited to do the prompts, and I might vlog some of it, we'll see. But I hope you're excited to do it. Please let me know if you've made a TBR video so I can go and watch yours, and let me know if you've read any of these books and you feel that I should prioritise them over others. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!